All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're tackling a really twisted psychological mystery from classic Japanese literature. It's this story of manipulation that is so perfect, it's almost genius.
And it all kicks off with a letter. A mysterious man in black delivers it to a doctor. And what's inside? Well, it's a suicide note with a confession that is just shocking. And it comes with a pretty terrible accusation.
So what you're about to hear is the story of this perfect facade, and the absolutely wild truth that it was hiding. And the best part, we hear it all from the point of view of the doctor who got that letter. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Our narrator is this guy, Dr. Usuki. He's a respected ENT specialist, and he's just finished a really tough surgery. He's totally exhausted. And that's when this strange man shows up at his clinic. This guy calls himself Mandara, and without a word, he just hands the doctor a letter. So, Dr. Yasuki opens it, and it's from his young nurse, Yuriko Himekusa. And get this, she says she's killed herself. Why? To protect his reputation, and the reputation of another big-shot doctor named Shirataka, supposedly because they were having an affair. The whole note is framed like she's this noble martyr, making this grand sacrifice.
And if that wasn't enough, this Mandara guy adds his own little details to the story. He claims you found Yuriko dead from a morphine injection with a beautiful smile on her face, no less. And then he says he faked her death certificate, as a professional courtesy to keep the doctors out of trouble. Right.
So Dr. Isuki is just reeling, right? How did he end up here? He realizes the only way to make sense of any of this is to go back, to tell the whole bizarre story right from the beginning. Right from the day Yuriko first walked into his life, carrying nothing but a basket. So let's rewind a few months. Dr. Usuki has just opened his new clinic, and in walks Yuriko. She's looking for a job, and she's carrying just this one little basket. I mean, she is the absolute picture of innocence. And her backstory? It's perfect. She says she's from a rich sake brewing family, trained at a top-tier university, and she has this incredibly innocent kind of bird-like way about her. Dr. Usuki and his family are just instantly charmed. They hire her right there on the spot. No questions asked.
And it turns out, she's not just good at her job, she's a genius. Seriously, in the operating room, she's like a mind reader. She anticipates every single move. She calms patients down before they even realize they're in pain. She basically single-handedly builds the clinic's amazing reputation. Everybody loves her. She's like the clinic's mascot.
But, and you knew there was a but coming, this is where things start to get weird. The very first thread in this huge, elaborate web of lies she's weaving gets spun around a name she just happens to drop from her past, a Dr. Shirataka from the famous K University. Now, Dr. Isuki hears this name and he's thrilled. Dr. Shirataka is a big deal, a respected senior colleague. So of course, he's super eager to meet him. He asks Yuriko, hey, can you set up a meeting? He's really proud that he has this connection. She hesitates for a second. There's this weird, almost regretful look in her eyes, but then she agrees. And right there, with that one little yes, the trap is set. That simple, innocent request is what's going to cause her whole world of lies to grow and then to come crashing down. So not long after that, the clinic gets a phone call. It's a man claiming to be Dr. Shirataka, and his voice, cheerful, informal, friendly, exactly how Yuriko described him. And so begins this weird sort of friendship by proxy, where Yuriko is the only person connecting them. And pretty quickly, a pattern starts to form, a really weird one. In September, they're supposed to meet at a medical society thing, but whoops, Shirataka has to cancel for a patient. October, they try again. Nope, now he's got a cold. In November, this Shirataka even sends over tickets to the Kabuki theater, but their schedules just don't line up. You see what's happening? They exchange gifts, they talk through Yuriko, but every single time these two doctors are actually supposed to meet in person, something comes up. A perfectly believable last-minute emergency that keeps them apart. Okay, and this is where it all comes to a head. The final act. Yuriko comes in with another tragic story. Oh no, Mrs. Shirataka just collapsed in a department store. So sorry, Dr. Shirataka has to miss the November meeting again. But this time is different. Dr. Asuki's wife, Matsuko, speaks up. She's like, wait a minute, don't you find this a little strange? All these coincidences are too perfect. It feels like she's making it all up to keep you two from meeting. And her logic just clicks for him. He's pushed by the suspicion, and he decides, you know what? I'm going to that meeting anyway. I have to see what's really going on.
So he gets there, expecting this stuffy medical meeting, but what he walks into is chaos. It's not a meeting, it's a wild, drunken dance party. There's confetti, music, people dancing everywhere. And right in the middle of this whole mess, he finds a man who introduces himself as, you guessed it, Dr. Shirataka. But this guy is absolutely nothing like the man Yuriko described. He's not cheerful and informal, he's stern, he's serious, and he's way older. And when Dr. Asuki, trying to be polite, asks about his poor, sick wife, the real Shirataka just looks at him, completely confused. His wife is perfectly fine at home. And in that one single moment, bam, the entire world that Yuriko built just shatters into a million pieces.
And right at that moment, a phone call comes for Dr. Usaki. It's an emergency. Some politician has collapsed with a nosebleed. The detail is so weirdly specific, he knows it has to be Yuriko. It's her last, desperate attempt to pull him away. He realizes it's just one more lie, and he just flees. He runs out of the party, totally confused and panicking.
So he gets home, his mind just racing, and that's when he finds out the full truth. Turns out, the real Mrs. Shirataka had called his wife earlier because she was worried about all the strange gossip Yuriko was spreading. And in that one phone call, the whole thing came out. The entire incredibly elaborate deception was just laid bare for everyone to see.
And I mean, nothing she said was real. Her age? She wasn't 19, she was 25. And she'd stolen someone else's identity. Her wealthy family? Nope. They were broke, ruined by her brother. And her prestigious job at K University? She wasn't some beloved protege. She'd been fired for being a pathological liar and causing scandals. The truth is, she was a compulsive liar, but her talent for it was so profound, she could literally build an entirely new reality out of thin air.
But here's the final, and maybe the most bizarre twist in the whole story. The investigation into her past reveals this really strange pattern. Her biggest, most elaborate, most high-stakes lies, they always happen in a very specific window, the 2 or 3 days right before her period started each month.
The diagnosis that the story lands on is something called menstrual psychosis. Now, this is described as a rare condition where hormonal shifts can actually trigger temporary episodes of, well, psychosis, delusions, paranoia, the whole thing. So the story suggests her behavior wasn't just evil or malicious. It was a tragic symptom, a physiological disorder that was fueling this uncontrollable, compulsive need to invent a better reality for herself, no matter who got hurt. So in the end, you're left with this huge question about the woman behind all these lies. What was she? A malicious manipulator who just drove herself to ruin? Or was she a tragic genius, trapped inside her own fabricated hell, a master storyteller whose greatest and saddest creation was herself?